Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've got Ayman here from Scale. He just crossed a 50K month and wanted to get some insight from him as to his process and his progression with us at Stacks and ask him some questions because we've been doing a lot of really good work with him. Ayman, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's going on? So I'll start off by just giving you guys a rundown of what we do at my business, and then we'll get into the more CFO stuff. So basically, at
Sure.
TickScale, we're a YouTube marketing agency. We don't do paid ads; it's just organic. And then we work with some big names like Daniel Fazio, Klein Ascension, Dakota Robertson, a lot of big people. And what we do for them is we manage the whole YouTube process from end to end. So all the way from the idea to the scripts to the post production and posting the video. So we really do everything, focus on making our clients money, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and it can be pretty complex, especially with the different services you're adding, whether it's like short form, long form, VSLs, even, which I'm sure was definitely one of the things that you were looking to streamline with us, just getting your pricing down and negotiating renewals, all that stuff. Definitely, I'm sure really came into play. Maybe touch on where you were before we started working together, um, and some of the things that were kind of weighing you down.
Yep. So I believe we started working together when I was around like 30K a month, 25K. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then now, like we just actually did we passed the 60K a month. And yeah, that's like the revenue wise. Do you want me to dive into more of like before like our process and then after?
Yeah, because I remember when you first started, and this was probably what, 5 months ago, 4 months ago. Um, yeah, you were kind of just getting the offer off the ground. You were definitely seeing some success early on, but I want to say you didn't even have a business bank account. You didn't even have a company set up. Um, so maybe touch on some of those things that you really needed to get into place because, especially in terms of taxes, like that was going to affect you if you kept going the way you were going. Um,
Yeah, so like basically before working with Alex, I was just ripping everything off my personal bank account, and then I didn't really know what I was doing. I was also just like doing some basic bookkeeping like on a spreadsheet, but like nowhere near the level of what Alex does. And also like basically I would leave everything until the last day of the month, and then I would go and log everything, and then I would see transactions and be like, what is this? Like nothing was categorized properly. I had like three categories, and I just put everything in three main categories. So like overall, basically, I just didn't know what I was doing. So I didn't have a corporation. So I'm Canadian. We have corporations. I didn't have a business bank account, and then I didn't even have like good credit cards as well. That's something else. And then really just I was just lost. And then Alex was like, "Yo, he's a CPA. He has experience. He has such good results, good clients." I was like, "Okay, screw it. Let's go." And then yeah, now basically everything is streamlined. So now I'll talk about my process now. Basically, Alex and his team like do everything, and then just like at the end of the month, maybe they'll ask me like one or two questions. It takes me like 3 seconds to answer each one, and then we hop on like a monthly call, and then he just gives me a rundown of like my financials for the month. He's like, "Hey, you hit your KPI here. Here you missed it. Maybe we should do this and that to like get you back up to this profitability level." And then he also helps me with projections. So really looking at like, hey, you grew 30% this month, 40% this month, whatever the numbers are. 3 months from now, if we continue this pace, maybe average it out, make it more conservative, you'll be at this number. So just keep doing what you're doing. And he's really just like like the eagle on my shoulder, kind of who's like guiding me, telling me like what to do.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with you, and especially with your growth levels. I mean, one of the things I think we really needed to get in place for you was those KPI levels, setting up those targets, and putting in motion those monthly revenue goals and figuring out how we can reverse engineer them. Um, because you're experiencing a lot of growth, and with that comes more expenses. Like you're going to need to hire. You're going to have to start making some moves in terms of taxes to, be able to save and write down your income, essentially. So those monthly calls definitely, I feel like, helped us a lot and get a lot of things in place. And with our reporting capabilities and our automations from the CFO side, I feel like really helped fuel your growth. Was there anything that surprised you about what we were doing and kind of what um, maybe you expected initially from what a bookkeeper and a CFO and a CPA can do for your business?
Yeah, so like originally I thought like, getting an accountant or some sort of CFO, like I thought whatever name you spin on it, like really it was just like tracking stuff in a spreadsheet at the end of the day. So I was like, hey, I'll do this myself kind of thing. If I pay someone to do it, it's just gonna be like the same thing. And then when I started working with Alex and his team, who are all like just certified CPAs and stuff, basically I was just blown away because at the end of every month, I just had like this beautiful looking organized financial statement with like projections, hey, you spent this much on this much on that, independent contractors, events, travel, this, that, and really just have everything laid out super clean. So it's like at the end of the month, hey, I make, 62K revenue. And then, for example, this isn't the real profit number. It'd be like, boom, you made 50K profit. It's like, I can clearly see my profit because like a lot of people look at revenue, but at the end of the day, like profit is what counts. And that's what Alex helps me look at.
And I remember looking back, and you were actually you were considering ending your service with one of the clients because there was a renewal date that came up, and I think there was a misconception that you had made X amount of dollars profitability wise, but because of some of the things that we were doing, we were able to actually give you profit levels on a per client basis. And I think you realized that one client was actually a lot more profitable than you had thought. And you had some numbers to be able to look off of when you did end up, re-signing and renegotiating the contract. So, how tangible of an effect was that for you to be able to actually realize, these are the amount of resources that were actually going towards this client? And whoa, we actually were making more than I expected.
Yeah, so like I had one client who basically it felt like we were putting in a lot of like labor hours into his, work on a month by month basis. And then I was like, I thought he was an unprofitable client. I was like, hey, I should just let this go, stop working with him. But then before I like cut things off, I like hit up Alex. I was like, hey, I have this client, let's hop on a call. I was like, we're putting in, he helped me calculate everything. So I was like, we're doing this many videos. This is what each video costs. We're doing this many short form videos. That's what that costs. Here's my time investment that goes into it. And then here's this part. Here's that moving part. We calculated everything. And then he was like, oh, you're actually making X amount on this client. You're not making like what I originally guessed. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to keep this client because these actually are profitable. And it's like not that bad when you like zoom out and look at it. Because a lot of the time when you're like, back then I was really like strapped into day to day, and I still am, but it's different. And then you don't really like get that eagle eye view and like zoom out and you have all the calculations and stuff. So with Alex, it really just like opens your eyes and like helps you look at everything like as if you're a CPA, because like he'll explain you stuff and it makes me feel like, oh, I'm like an accountant or something, because he just explains everything so smoothly. And yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the goals. Like, I want to be able to put some English to the financials, right? I don't want to just send you a PDF with your numbers. I love the fact that we can actually get together each month and actually do a deep dive strategy on current results, comparing them to last month's, and also factoring in like any changes or especially any goals when it comes to hiring, or maybe you're going to add some components to your offer. How's that going to factor in? Definitely think that that's benefited you quite a bit, and it's been fun to do that with you. If somebody's like on the fence about working with us, or if there's some other business owner that, if you were to put yourself in their shoes, what would you tell them if they were looking to potentially bring on a fractional CFO?
Yeah, great question, man. So what I'll say is like definitely do it sooner rather than later. A lot of people wait, maybe when they're at 10K a month, they're like, oh, I don't need it, I'll do it myself. 20, they're like, oh, I'll do it myself. Even all the way till like, I don't know what number, 50 or something like that. But really, if you're on the fence of working with Alex, whether it's because you're saying like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this myself, or you think you know how to do it or something, like you're wrong. You need to get someone who's actually like a professional. They're certified themselves, and they have people on their team who are also certified to handle this for you, because there's a lot of complexity that goes into it. And then also at the end of the day, like it's just buying back your time also. On top of buying back your time, you're getting like Alex's expertise from like, I don't even know how many years you've been at CPA for. How many years?
Going on almost 8 years.
look at that, like 8 years. Like I had like maybe one course in college and like I dropped out. So like I don't even know what I'm doing. And then it's like now Alex, he just gives you like all the info kind of thing. So like if you actually want to look at your numbers and know your profits kind of thing, you need a CPA. And then Alex and the team at Stacks are just the best of the best.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Very cool. Love to hear it. Any other final thoughts that you'd like to share with the viewers?
Yeah, let me think here. I would say final thoughts are just once again, just get it done and do not go to Fiverr and get some bookkeeper and pay them like, $2 an hour or something like that, some VA. Like your financials are important. And then also, if you try and exit like down the line, like you need like 3 years or you need all your financial statements from like when you started, like profit, loss, and all the other good stuff that Alex does that I don't even probably know about. So you just need everything like very neatly kept. So if you want to exit, you have those numbers. If you're about to make a huge investment in back into the business, or you're trying to make a decision, like you need to know everything. And yeah, that's pretty much my final thoughts, man.
That's cool. Really cool. And congrats on the growth, man. That's a big accomplishment. I think you just crossed 50K net profit
Six,
for
yeah,
60K. Yeah.
yeah,
Unbelievable growth, man. It's been really cool to be a part of it, and I'm really looking forward to just being that partner with you and for you to just continue help growing it. And it's gonna be really cool. See what happens in this upcoming year.
yep, 100%.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate this. Great talking to you. I'll chat with you soon. And if anybody's interested in just booking a call, having a conversation, I'll have a link here below, and you should be able to click that. So, okay. Thanks, man.
Dope. Peace out.